Hey folks, it's a bit past 1:05 a.m. I'm gonna make this other video. It's just something that it was like a kind of philosophical musing I had, just now because I remember Alex used some of his comments on some of my videos where he was talking about like basically going MGTOW or MGTOW and um, striving for the betterment of humanity or something like that, and you know, the whole like ignoring women, staying away from them, staying clear of them, never being tied down by them, that sort of a deal. And it was on one of my videos where I was initially like starting to talk about the whole thing with quote unquote the other girl and my girlfriend, marriage and relationships and all that sort of stuff. And one thing I've realized honestly is that without having that, having love basically, and by extension obviously the physical intimacy, the sex, having without having a wife and by extension kids, um, I honestly like couldn't. I mean, I've tried to look at the world in that way where I'm like, okay, okay, if marriage doesn't work out or don't have a girlfriend, they don't like me or whatever, or I get put in the beta male category, well, I'll just go MGTOW or and I'll live for some higher cause or whatever, and it's like maybe it's just my nature, but I'm of the mindset that if that happened to me, love didn't work out, and I got dumped or broke up, and like the girl I love went off with another man or whatever, which in many ways is the case right now. Um, that I wouldn't have any motivation to care about humanity as in general and most other people. Like I could do things for my folks, my mother, my father, my sister, maybe relatives, but you know, that's mostly because they've done things for me, and it'd be kind of feeling like I was paying them back for that. But humanity in general, I wouldn't care about them. You know, I guess I would feel in a sense like I was using my life force and my time to help people who, for one thing, had never helped me, and were having the greatest, in many cases, the greatest lives imaginable, or at least getting to have the things that I would want to have. Kind of like if that guy was dangling from a cliff somewhere and I had the ability to go and, pull him up and and save his life. Like, you know, whether or not the girl was there, like, would I really want to pull him up? Would I really want to save him? Or would I want to let him fall to his death? That kind of feeling I would get where it's kind of like, oh, I would feel that humanity had on some level screwed me over, to one extent or another, and I would just want to passively like sit there and watch it crumble, and just watch it go to heck, because it's like, well, it's not worth saving. It's not worth saving that thing or those people who have hurt you the most. And it's like I know that in life we're not guaranteed marriage, we're not guaranteed happiness, we're not guaranteed love, we're not guaranteed fulfillment or offspring or what have you, but it seems to me like at one point in our history, and this is one of the good things I think religion has done, is that they understood that you can't have a functioning society if the majority of the men and by extension the majority of women are, suffering from loneliness, lack of fulfillment, lack of companionship, and point blank, like a lack of things like sexual fulfillment. They're frustrated all the dang time, and they feel rejected and alienated and just oppressed by the society they're around them. They either A, will become unproductive, perhaps even lazy, downright, not doing anything, or they might become rebellious and destructive. And that's one of the reasons why marriage has been considered such a big thing throughout most of history, because it gave the majority of men something to strive for, something to work for, a reason to get up in the morning and go slave away from 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. in the morning out in the fields or in the factories or wherever they were working at, and then come home, and produce those products, those the crops, the livestock, the meat and the bread and all that kind of stuff, and and the tools, and building the houses, and whatever devices, technologies need to be developed or built or run or used, like it gave them a reason to do that kind of stuff. Because it was the whole, I got my wife and kids, and then my wife and kids need me, and I can't slack off today because my wife and kids, and whether one wants to look at that as a weakness that I have, that you need that to be motivated. Well, it's also part of my human nature that companionship and love, sex, and commitment and fulfillment and offspring. Yeah, it's part of my nature as a human being, and I've gone through those phases of trying to deny that and pretend like I didn't need that and I wouldn't want that, and I'm gonna go MGTOW and screw this, and fundamentally it doesn't work, because what you end up having to do is battle that emptiness, and you can try and fill it up with all the things you want to, and perhaps you end up doing things like what Nikola Tesla and Alhazen and others ended up doing, creating all sorts of great things. But at the same time, it's just like you're fundamentally contending with that emptiness, And like I said, like it can lead to great inventions, great discoveries, all that kind of stuff. But really, like you're just staving off the darkness. You're constantly fighting the darkness. That's really what you're doing, And I don't want that, you know. I love my girlfriend, but I also love this other woman. I have strong feelings for her. Fortunately, I acted in a very creepy, weird way that pushed her away, and it's brought me into questioning a lot of things in my life. Even especially starting last semester and then up till now, because how emasculating it feels. And that's sort of the thing, like why I can't go and do that. I tried to do that one point in my life. I think the wait until marriage thing worked for me and was simple and easy when I was in my early 20s, because I was younger. I was I had so much more ahead of me. I didn't feel like I had limited opportunities. I felt like I had limitless opportunities. And I could take that kind of attitude of, forget women, I'm going to focus on myself, I'm awesome, I'm single, woohoo, But, like I say, you get to a point where that's just lying to yourself in many ways. And, that's in many ways, like, for a lot of folks. And I don't think, to use Aaron Clary's take on things, they're not really MGTOWs. But for a lot of folks, that kind of attitude is just them trying to cover up and refusing to face their underlying issues, Like, if they have social skill problems like I do, if they have mental health issues like, admittedly, I feel that I do. Not crazy, gonna go and hurt someone type stuff, but just, other than perhaps myself, but, it's another topic for another day. Um, those sorts of things, like, so one of the reasons why I got into Nofap was I was tired of self-medicating. I was tired of hiding from the garbage in my life. I was tired of going through this kind of crap and wondering, why the heck did I act like that? Why the heck did I say that? Why does this make me feel so bad? Why does this stuff keep on happening and happening and happening again and again and again, And, unfortunately, just because you realize these sorts of things and you start learning this type of stuff and you start changing your behaviors to better things, it doesn't mean that you don't get to face the garbage of your past, actions and decisions and such. You still have to go through and deal with that kind of stuff. And it sucks, but it's part of life. And I'm having to really deal with that now. I'm having to deal with feeling like a creep around this girl. I'm having to deal with, seeing them together and just like imagining like that could have been me, and etc., etc., And then the girlfriend's there, and it's like in many ways I still love her, but at the same time there's this other girl, and it's like, for the longest time with that relationship I had with my girlfriend, like I didn't question it at all. I didn't think there were any better possible alternatives, any other things that could bring me joy and happiness except being with her. Like I went over to Morocco, summer of 2016, the first trip there. Finally got to meet her, finally got to see her, spend, 2.5 weeks there. I came back, I felt like $1 million. I felt I felt that there were all these certitudes in my life. I got the girl. Time to get the degree. Um, gonna graduate in 2 years. Be out of here May 2018, baby. Have that degree, have that job. And I'll get married. Then that summer 2018, we'll be getting married, and I'll have the wife, and I'll have the job, and I'll have the degree. And that sort of thing. And then you know, how many months later or years later, I'll be, we're having our first kid, and we're settling into the whole routine of life, and that all got brought into question. Whether I was gonna, dang, it's one, dang, it's 1 a.m. I'm probably making too much noise, but that all got brought into question. Whether or not I was gonna graduate, whether or not I was gonna end up back at my parents' home, whether or not I was gonna be staying with the girlfriend because of some of her behaviors, some of my behaviors as well, and the whole getting put behind by a year because I failed classes and got put on probation, and her being all bent out of shape about that. Oh, another year, you're gonna be in school forever, and this thing with this other girl, and just this discombobulation, and feeling like you permanently screwed up things to the point that she doesn't even want to talk to me, and I I got close like this last week to breaking up with the girlfriend like permanently, and again, it wouldn't have been one of those situations where I break up with the girlfriend and now I'm free to date the other girl, and the other girl wants to date me, and now we're going out on a date or whatever because I'm free now, she's free, and that sort of thing. It wouldn't have been like that. It would have been me moping around alone again, and and as much as that might make me some gynocentric cuck or whatever they want to call me, that's my nature. It's like I'm waiting until marriage, so sex is a big thing for me. I'm waiting until marriage, so relationships are a big thing for me. I'm straight edge, so living the clean life is a big thing for me. I'm on Nofap, so again, sex and relationships, marriage, life, success, all that kind of thing. Those kind of things are big for me. It's like a lot of these folks in the engineering program I've met. It's like they. Of course, they would feel bad if they dropped out of engineering, But for them, in many cases, it's kind of like it's not the end all be all of their existence. They would quote unquote get over it. I wouldn't get over it, because of what it means to me, It means a lot to me, and it would definitely close me off to certain things, It would definitely get rid of my access to certain things, what I would call quote unquote high quality women, and marriage, and etc. 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 And I just can't see myself existing in a world like that, living in a world like that, It would destroy me because of my nature, my worldview, my upbringing, and a number of other things. And it's kind of like, sure, I could go and break myself down and start not caring, A lot of guys do that apparently, I'm watching some stuff with RSD Taylor? Tyler, I guess, and it's not like I'm some pickup artist or I want to be a pickup artist, but it's definitely like I want those social skills so that if I decided to, um, you know, talk to some girl or something like that, even if it was just us being friends and I just didn't want to be creeping her out, I wanted generally just to be friends because, oh, I already got the girlfriend, just want a friend, I would want that kind of stuff. And if you eliminate that from your life, yeah, I suppose it gets rid of a lot of stress and anxiety, but the reality is it's kind of like Jordan Peterson puts it: men test ideas, women test men. And if you avoid that kind of stuff all your life, you're avoiding many opportunities for growth, And growth isn't always comfy, cozy. It's not warm and fuzzy. A lot of times, it's really uncomfortable, and you have to go through a lot of sadness and suffering. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now. And I think the thing that gets to me the most about it is it's just kind of like like I'll talk to my dad and he'll say, well, next time you'll remember, this, that, and the other because you figured these things out. And it's kind of like, I don't want next time. I want to be able to go and fix what I screwed up, Again, even if like all I could do was just be friends with her, even if it put me in the friend zone, that dreaded friend zone, at the very least, I could at least have that. And it's like I can't, you know. Um, it's like I feel like I would have to work myself back into certain social circles, which would require certain things, and it's almost like they would have to break up. She would have to be forced to work with me, forced to study with me, forced to be around me, and then maybe that topic would come up, and then I could express myself. But even then, it just seems like I've mucked things up to the point that I couldn't even be friends with her. Because she's so creeped out by me. I did things like I friended her, unfriended her, friended her, unfriended her on Facebook, blocked, unblocked her because I was struggling with a breakup that I was going through, and I felt to a certain extent like she was teasing me, or that sort of deal, but toying with me. But in reality, like she wasn't, and I acted weird around her, acted hostile around her, and it's just like I know why I did that stuff now. And I know it's not because I'm screwed up. I'm not because I'm just this utterly messed up person who's a danger to himself and others and needs to be locked away because, oh, he's a creep and he's this and he's that and whatnot. But that that I think about myself certain ways, and my negative self-talk, my negative self-image, it leads me to acting like a person who is like that. Inevitably, the way you act ultimately determines who you are. Actions speak louder than words. But ultimately, it's like I don't want to give up this struggle because, maybe it's me as a man, but like I said, Jordan Peterson puts it that men test ideas, women test men. And I know that with this girlfriend I've had for 3 years, I've grown a lot as an individual. I've, changed my perspective on a lot of things. I was able to end some toxic friendships because, it was either my girlfriend or the friend. And people say bros before hoes, but when your quote unquote bros are holding you back and your girlfriend is the one wanting you to move forward and get your life together and, you know, become successful, become independent, become a full grown man, heck, and become happy, for crying out loud, you're going to choose the girlfriend if you're a logical, you know, mature, somewhat mentally healthy individual. You're not going to go with the guy who basically wants his drinking buddy and doesn't care if keeping his drinking buddy means, that his drinking buddy is miserable. You're not going to choose misery. You're going to choose happiness. And because of my girlfriend, I was able to choose happiness over misery, or fulfillment over misery. And of course, like I said, last fall and into the spring semester, throughout all this stuff got questioned, and I had to make some very hard decisions, and it sucks in many ways because, so you choose a long distance relationship or the relationship with a girl who's here, and then later on maybe you regret it, and by then, she's moved on, she's got on with some other guy, and it really doesn't matter what explanation you might want to give to them or could give to them, because in their minds it's all about how they feel about things, and they feel you're dangerous, mentally unstable, creepy, you know, mucked up. It doesn't matter, like, if you had legit reasons for being like that. So it's something I have to live with, something I have to deal with, and ultimately I can't give up the struggle because, again, like I said, it's an opportunity for growth, and it's the one thing that's really driven me to questioning so many of my bad behaviors and decisions in life, because those bad decisions and bad behaviors got in the way of me, for all intents and purposes, as a male human being, finding a mate and keeping a mate, getting a mate, keeping a mate. Um, and it's like if I gave up on women, yeah, living in my parents' home until I'm 45 or 50, you know, not earning that degree, not getting that high paying position with prestige and so on, you know, it wouldn't have the draw to it. It wouldn't really motivate me. Yeah, I could live in their, you know, house and play video games all day and that kind of thing and work a minimum wage job and yada yada yada, and it wouldn't really, you know, like I would get comfortable with that. But I want more. I want something better, and so therefore I'm not giving up on women. I'm not giving up on relationships. Whether the one I'm in lasts until marriage and until death or it breaks and I've got to go through some real loneliness and suffering, you know, even more so than I'm going through right now. I can't throw in the towel, you know, it's just like with Nofap, I can't give up on that. I really, really can't, because, you know, you do that and, you know, you start giving up and giving up and giving up, and pretty soon your life is dead, you know, and there's really no point in being around at that point, and I'm not doing that. I may have to fight the darkness till the day I die. I may have to fight that depression, that anxiety, all the problems I've inherited or been given, all the brutalization I've gone through in my life, all the trauma, and it's going to be hard, it's going to be painful in many ways, but I do hope that I eventually do win, and the exhilaration of that victory will be hopefully worth all the pain and suffering, and I hope that, you know, for everyone else out there who's going through these sort of tough times in life, that you ultimately do win. You ultimately do succeed, and I want to hear when you guys succeed. I want to see that, you know. I want to see one of those guys in Nofap who struggle with social anxiety and failed attempts at relationships and rejections and whatnot. I want to see those videos saying, you know, I got my first girlfriend, you know, or I'm getting married, you know, and we're expecting our first kid, you know, or the guy who struggled with poverty, you know, all his life, living in his parents' home, finally gets that degree and gets that high paying job and moves out, has his first apartment and a car and, you know, nice clothes and feels great about himself. I want to see that video. You know, I want to see those successes happen. You know, for whoever, for Clever Trevor, for Hyper Sniper, for 24/7, for, you know, Heaven Storming, for Alex Ehlers, for Alex Hughes. I want to see all those sorts of things. Whatever it is that's going to make you happy. It's going to get you off of PMO, break that addiction, you know, fulfill your life. I want to see that happen, you know. I want to see that for myself, and I want to see that for others, because we're all fighting the same fight, and it's a struggle with its ups and downs, and it can be quite depressing and negative, but we don't give up. We keep adapting, we keep changing, we keep learning, and hopefully we get what we're looking for in the end. Those things that make us happy and fulfilled. And forget about serving humanity, forget about serving whatever, you know. Serve the divine within you, whatever you feel that is. You know, whether that's the universe or God or just your own self. You know. So anywho, that's it for me. It's about 1:30 now, and if I feel anything more, I'm gonna make some more videos, because I got a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. It's crazy. Like I'm studying for the Intro to Biochemical Engineering midterm next week. Gotten really behind in my reading assignments, and after I get caught up on that, then it's gonna be me doing, you know, work for that, actual exercises, and I have to get ready for that 190 midterm, because that's one of my retakes, and I can't fail it a second time, then I'm out of the major, you know. So anywho, see you folks around, and thanks for watching. Thanks for likes, the comments, the subscriptions, and again, like, thanks to the Max and beyond for any and all support, you know, because I'm feeling really alone, alienated, rejected, unwanted. At the same time, I have this girlfriend who can, you know, in a moment make me feel like $1,000,000. There's a certain amount of guilt and shame that I feel as well. Um, Even though nothing like truly happened, it just kind of feels like that, you know. But anyways, again, I'll see you folks around, and take care. Take care of yourself. Stick around. Keep going. Don't give up. Adapt, 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 and keep on persevering, because, you know, my faith in this is that in the end, you know, it will have been for something, and I have to believe in that. We have to believe in that. We have to have faith in the process. Otherwise, you know, otherwise you're not going to get anything at the end. So don't give up. I'll see you folks around. Bye.